It's time for some vampire anime recommendations, so here's 10 that I think are worth the watch. Alright, these are coming in no specific order, so first up, let's tackle Hakuoki. Hakuoki is also known as Demon of the Fleeting Blossom, the Tale of the Shinsengumi in English, and it originally started as a Japanese Otome video game done by Idea Factory in 2008. It's set in ancient Japan. We've got super cool samurai called the Shinsengumi and Hijikata, who are based off actual historical shit. And things kind of get interesting when a brave and slightly clumsy high school girl named Chizuru stumbles upon them. Turns out they're not just regular samurai, they're half human, half demon hotties, and Chizuru gets caught up in their epic battles, political conspiracies, and of course some swoon-worthy romance. Brace yourself for a roller coaster of emotions as Chizuru tries to survive while also stealing some hearts along the way. Get ready for action, drama, and plenty of heart-fluttering moments. And even if Otome games aren't really your thing, I would still highly recommend this anime. It's got some awesome historical facts thrown in there, great character design, and while it's not really on the nose vampire, it's definitely got that in it. And it's also just great for the blood, gore, fighting, everything else. You'll definitely enjoy it. You don't have to play the Otome game afterwards if you don't want to, or maybe you will after seeing these awesome characters. Next up, we're heading back to the classics with Helsing. This is a classic vampire anime. Get ready to sink your teeth into the world of just chaos, where vampires are real and they're not exactly the brooding, sparkly type. Alucard, the ultimate badass vampire hunter who serves the Helsing organization. This guy is like Dracula on steroids, basically. He's got super slick hat, awesome glasses, and a thirst for supernatural blood. Together with the kick-ass Integra Helsing and her loyal team, they're on a mission to protect the world from all sorts of unholy creatures. There are gunslinging battles, over-the-top action, just massive guns that are bigger than the people wielding them. This anime will definitely have you on the edge of your seat. It gets even crazier when there's like this Nazi organization of vampires that show up bent on unleashing chaos. It is full of blood, like corner to corner of your screen, just red with chaos. It's a bloody battle between the forces of good and evil and kind of everything in between, with bangs, guns, and a whole lot of attitude. So get ready to sink your teeth into the dark and twisted world of Helsing. It's literally blood-soaked from start to finish. It keeps you on the edge of your seat, and all the characters are fantastic. The anime is just so well done and still holds up the test of time, even after so many years. So if you really love that kind of berserk, crazy gore and that real true vampire feel and horror, then you definitely have to check out Helsing. Bloodsea is another classic, where high school life is kind of hard enough, but if you add some blood-splattering action and supernatural creatures into the mix, it tends to get a whole lot harder. Our main character is your typical cute and cheerful schoolgirl, or so you'd like to think. Little did she know her peaceful town is hiding some dark secrets. She was chosen and destined to wield a super badass sword and slay monstrous creatures, and that without giving too much away, you pretty much just need to get ready for some intense battles and jaw-dropping gore. It's got also a whole lot of mystery, which always keeps you on your toes and keeps things exciting. With every swing of her sword, Saya uncovers shocking truths about her own identity and the twisted secrets lurking in the shadows of her and her town. Brace yourself for a wild ride of supernatural mayhem, epic fights, and a dash of mystery with Bloodsea. You gotta stay sharp because things get pretty bloody, and it's really just one of those ones where I can't explain it enough that it won't give away some of the secrets that I really just want you to uncover for yourself while watching this. We can't have this anime list without having JoJo's, so you just have to buckle up for the wild ride that is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It is a crazy anime that follows the incredible adventures of the Joestar family throughout the generations, and it all starts from the start with Jonathan Joestar, who's a nobleman who discovers a mysterious stone mask that turns his adopted brother, Dio, into a vampire. I'm sure, unless you've been living under a rock, you've seen the memes. But yeah, things get really weird really quick. Jonathan must now master a special martial art called Harmon to stop Dio's evil plans. Obviously, they don't stop there, and this travels on through the generations and the series that is JoJo's. It's pretty much known for its unique art style, over-the-top poses, and fabulous fashion choices. It is filled with crazy powers, intense battles, and a whole lot of fabulousness. I guess if there's one that's going to make the top of this 10 vampire anime list, then JoJo's just has to be it. So you just need to get ready to dive into a world where pretty much anything can happen. There is no way to watch JoJo's. You just have to sit down and expect the crazy, and just don't ask any questions. It is a roller coaster of action, humor, and pure eccentricity that will keep you entertained and make you say, what on earth did I just watch? But you just love every minute of it. We're coming back to the Otome games for this one with Diabolic lovers, so you just really need to get ready for some serious vampire drama, because Yui is a sweet, innocent high school girl who finds herself living in a creepy mansion with 6 drop-dead gorgeous vampire brothers. And by drop-dead, I mean literally. These guys are brooding, mysterious, and yeah, they really want her blood. Talk about a love-hate relationship. As our main character navigates the supernatural harem situation, she discovers some dark secrets, forbidden desires, and enough melodrama to fill a whole season of soap opera. Each vampire brother has his own kind of twisted personality, from the seductive playboy to the sadistic prince. You've pretty much got all your bases covered. This one is a lot more Otome game than, say, Hakuoki. So I would say unless you kind of like Otome games, then you might not really like this one, but I kind of had to put it in there, so we got all our bases covered. It's really just a supernatural romance roller coaster with Diabolic lovers, kind of like Twilight without the sparkles, and kind of on steroids with a lot more fangs, and a bit more blood. Enjoy. At this point, I don't think we can talk about vampire anime without having some romance involved, so cue in Vampire Knight. So Vampire Knight came out in 2004 with the original run of it, but it's definitely got that 90s feel and aesthetic to it. It is basically a love triangle. It is set at a school called Cross Academy, and there are 2 student classes, the day class and the night class, and obviously the night class of vampires. Don't really want to give a lot away in this, as it kind of all tilts on that kind of love triangle situation, but as the story unfolds, there's a lot of secrets, forbidden romances, and just so much vampire drama, it's insane. Vampire Knight is pretty much a thrilling blend of supernatural romance and high school intrigue that will leave you thirsting for more. It's a bit of a guilty pleasure. It was a lot of people's kind of gateway into that kind of vampire romance genre. So I think if you are kind of feeling like you want to reminisce, feel a little nostalgic, then definitely check out Vampire Knight. Next up we have Devil's Line, which, while I feel like I can't say much about this anime without giving too much of away, it's not really included on a lot of the vampire anime lists that I've seen, and I feel like it kind of went under the radar as an anime in general. So Devil's Line is about vampires, but they're kind of not your typical brooding bloodsuckers. These vampires are called devils, and they're a whole kind of different breed. We have our main character, and then we have our main vampire character, Anzai, and he's a half devil, half human, and he's pretty much got a bad boy vibe. He is pretty brooding, to be honest. So they kind of start a forbidden romance, and as their relationship heats up, they find themselves caught in a web of dangerous secrets, government conspiracies, and just a whole lot of supernatural action. It's not all doom and gloom, though. There is like this really cool team of badass vampire hunters trying to maintain the balance between the humans and the devils, and there's some really cool battles, some steamy encounters, and there is definitely a plot twist or two, which is why I feel like I can't say a lot about it without giving too much away. But it's definitely one of those really cool anime that I think not enough people checked out. So I definitely recommend it. It definitely leaves you wanting more and kind of keeps you on your toes. It's got some romance, got some action, got a bit of everything. You might have seen this one on Netflix, Sirius the Jaeger. It is set in kind of like 1930s Tokyo, and there's a group of vampire killing badasses known as the Jaegers. They're not your typical hunters though, because they're armed with some seriously cool weapons and a touch of supernatural powers themselves. Our main dude, Yuli, is this really cool, mysterious and brooding Jaeger with a secret past, and he's on a mission to avenge his family, basically, and wipe out the vampires. So these vampires aren't really like your wannabe Draculas. They're kind of like their own ancient artifacts and dark rituals, and they do messed up things. So it's really, really cool. It's super thrilling vampire hunts, super well designed characters. They're super badass, and it's got a healthy dose of mystery. Sirius the Jaeger is really cool. So yeah, get ready for an action-packed adventure that will have you on the edge of your seat as Yuli and his crew fight to kind of save the day and keep those bloodsuckers in check. Again, this is one I don't want to give away too much about, but there are definitely some slick moves and some seriously cool choreography in this anime. There's also werewolves, which is also sick to have that into the mix too, and that just kind of adds an extra layer of supernatural goodness. It's definitely really well animated, and it's got a cool soundtrack as well that will just amp up the excitement. So definitely check out Sirius the Jaeger on Netflix. Let's crack into Seraph of the End. So Seraph of the End is kind of like a world where this deadly virus wiped out most of humanity, and that's just not the end of it. There's vampires running the show, and our main protagonist just has a burning desire for revenge, and you see him and the way that the vampires kind of took everything away from him, and so he's just on a mission to kick major ass. He teams up with a cool squad of kids known as the Moon Demon Company, who specializes in slaying those blood-sucking fiends. And I mean, like, the anime is really great. It's not just about skewering vampires with swords, even though there's like so much of that. There's also a secret government organization called the Japanese Imperial Demon Army, and they've got like their own agenda, twisted experiments, and a whole bunch of fancy weapons. And there's also like demon weapons, which are like a whole other level. And yeah, there's some angsty vampire drama going on. There's a lot of vampire politics, uncovering dark secrets and forming alliances with unlikely vampires. And it's just like a top-notch animation in terms of the way that it's animated, and also just through the character designs. And it's actually got some really cool soundtracks to go along with it. So yeah, just hold on tight, and if you're into post-apocalyptic worlds, vampires, demons, and rebellion, then this anime is totally for you. Last but not least is Vampire Hunter D, and I got to do a tattoo of this recently, and it was so much fun going back through the manga and the anime all over again. It is set in a world where vampires rule the night and humans are like, nah, not cool, not down with that. It's kind of like post-apocalyptic, but still being Western and old-timely, which kind of gives it that really awesome classic vampire feel to it. So D is our main dude. In the anime, it's a little bit different to the manga, but he basically gets hired by a whole lot of different people, kind of like The Witcher does, I suppose, is the closest thing I compare it to. But in the anime, he gets hired to save this lovely chick named Doris from the clutches of a count, a vampire creep who's got the hots for her. And yeah, there's a bit of a twist. She's not really a damsel in distress. I don't really want to give too much away, but basically, he goes on an epic quest to kick some vampire booty and save the day. There are all sorts of encounters with freaky creatures, haunted castles, and dark secrets along the way. Some really cool powers, gunfights, sword fights. It's all there. It's pretty much like a roller coaster ride through a gothic fantasy world with a side of supernatural action. And yeah, it kind of shows that D still has a softer side hidden behind his stoic exterior, and how him being half-breed kind of doesn't fit into either side of anything and isn't really trusted by either side as well. Yeah, there's super cool sword fights, badass monsters, and a dash of romance, and you really just can't go wrong with this classic. So that's a wrap from me. Those are all my recommendations, and I hope there was something in there that kind of piqued your interest. Thanks again to everyone on my Patreon for your support, and I hope to catch you guys soon.